The token use case. Checklist. We will write a Solidity smart contract, which will be able to represent an item as a unique token. The contract will have the functionality to create a token, transfer the token ownership. We'll also define the framework on how to sell the token. Then we'll also create another contract, a shop contract, which will use the token contract to represent the items in the shop. We'll be able to add a new item and buy that particular item from the shop. Okay, so we have created a new file named uc.sol and have the base template ready. First, let us create the token contract. Then we'll create a mapping, which will keep track of which address owns which token. Then we'll create an event transfer, which will be triggered whenever a token transfer occurs. It will log out the token ID and owner. Next, we'll create a function named mint, which will be tagged with an internal keyword, which means it can only be accessed by the contract and the child contract. And it will return a token ID as output. Now, a quick note, the general time for the process of creating a new token is called minting. Inside the body, we'll create a temporary variable token ID, which will be assigned the value of the last block creation time. This time will be in the Unix timestamp format. We can retrieve it using the block.timestamp global variable. Then we will assign the function caller's address as the owner of this particular token. And finally, return the token ID. Next, we'll create a function to return the owner of a token ID. Next, we'll declare another function named buy, which has an input parameter for taking in the token ID, which will be a public payable function. The function will be tagged with the virtual keyword. And we won't be defining this function, as this function will be defined by the child contract that will inherit the token contract. Here we are just defining the framework the child should follow when defining the buying feature for the token. If one of the functions of the contract is not defined, that contract will be an abstract contract. Finally, we'll create a transfer function which will transfer ownership of a token from the caller's address to the new owner address specified by the caller. It will also be an internal function. Once we change the token ownership, we'll also log it out using the transfer event. Now we'll create another contract. Let us call it item shop. This will inherit the token contract using the is keyword. So it will have all the functionalities of the token contract and then define its features on top of that. We'll create a struct item inside the body with the member titles and price. Using the struct, we'll create a mapping to store multiple items. We can store an item for each number. Our idea is to store the values against the token ID. We'll create an event, new item to be triggered when we create a new item. We'll create a function named new item to create a new item in the shop. This function will take in the title and price of the item. Inside the body, we'll create a new token using the token contract's mint function, which will return the token ID, which we can store in a temporary variable. Using the token ID, we will assign the title and price to the item token mapping and log out the token ID and price. Next, we will define the buy function based on the token contract declaration. It will be public and payable. It will be tagged with override keyword as we are going to override the definition of the parent contract. Now within the function, we check if the transfer either amount is enough for purchase. Next, we will transfer the token ownership to the caller's address. And that's it for the contract creation. But before execution, let me show one more thing. We don't need to write both contracts in the same file. Cut the token contract, create a new file. Let's name it token.sol and create the base template. Paste the contract code. Go back to uc3.sol and use the import keyword followed by the name of the contract file we want to import. So that will be token.sol. And this will work as the same as before. Now compile it and go to the deploy tab. Select the item shop contract from the dropdown and deploy it. Next, let us create a new item. We'll put up a cycle. So eCycle MX Plus for the price of 4 Ether. Transact. Now to get the token ID, expand the token receipt in the remix ID and scroll down to log section where we can see the logged out event. Copy the token ID from here. Then check the owner. Switch to another account and buy the token for say 5 Ether. Paste in the token ID and click buy. Now check the owner again and we can see it being updated to the new owner. That's it. Thank you.